Hello, hello. How's it going? Got a little bit of time. So I figure let's do some more Stormblood.
Come to see how we're getting on? We've made good progress since we took back Alamigo, but there's one big issue we still have to address. Leadership. The Domans had Lord Hien ready and willing to take the throne, but we've got no one like that here. Theodoric was our last ruler, and he wasn't called the Mad King for nothing.
Suffice it to say, our people have had their fill of kings, which means we need to find a new way forward.
If only it were that easy. Everyone and his uncle has an opinion. For the time being, we're just going to have to keep leaning on General Aldin and the Alliance for support, and see if we can't find a solution together. Something tells me we're going to be hosting a lot of meetings in the near future. But if that's what it takes, I'm ready to talk till my jaw aches. The Reach is yours, Nago. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Ah, there you are. I've been searching all over for you. But don't worry, it's nothing bad. That said, this might not be the best place to talk. Will you join me? I'll get to the point. Might you be interested in a spot of adventure? After all, we were adventurers before we were scions, were we not? After routing the Imperials and liberating Alamigo, I reckon we've earned a bit of respite, don't you? And what better way to spend it than by returning to our roots? So, what say you? Shall we call on Alphino and go adventuring?
Twist my arm, why don't you? One. Right then, let's go and find Master Leveler. Actually, leave that to me. I want you fresh for a little adventure. Wait for us by the Aetheryte, and we'll be along shortly. See you there. Greetings, Danica. Twould seem we are to accompany Arenvald on some manner of escapade. Have you any idea what we've gotten ourselves into? Allow me to explain. It'll be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be brief. No snoring, if you please. Now, the events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Ala Mhigo was still a monarchy and Theodoric sat at the throne. A uniquely brutal despot by all accounts. That he was. The King of Ruin suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute with the monks of the Fist ended with Rawgear's Reach being burned to the ground. In the latter years of his rule, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown, and so he ordered that every soul with a claim to the throne be executed, including his own family. The wealth of the poor sods he put to death became the property of the king, and it's said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's Trove. I believe I see a direction our adventure is to take. I assume you have a mind to unearth this hidden bounty. You assume correctly. Would I also be correct in assuming that this legend is widely known? Others must surely have gone in search of your prize, tempting as it seems. Well, of course we won't be the first to make the attempt. Following Ala Mhigo's liberation, more than a few eager soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. Their gold lust drained away as quickly as it had come, and the legend of the Mad King's Trove remains simply that, a legend. But I see you have no intention of letting the story end there. What self-respecting adventurer would? Imagine the three of us delving into a decades-old mystery. Tell me the thought doesn't set your heart to racing. Hey, Tongs. Two. The news of Doma and Ala Mhigo's liberation has kindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the Empire. I hear the imperial province of Dalmasca has already risen up in rebellion, which means the Garleans must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arenvald, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fared, nosing about the palace isn't going to get us anywhere, so we'll probably need to ask around. Would that be another way of saying no? Well, yes. I see. In that case, I shall pay a visit to the Allied archivists and request access to the records seized from the Imperials. The Garleans are meticulous about such things. If they uncovered the trove during their occupation, the event is certain to have been recorded. In the meantime, the two of you can track down those who worked as palace servants and officials in Theodoric's day. Given that they would have been at least 20 at the time, you'll be looking for people who have seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful, so be sure to listen well. Arenvald, pray try your luck in the fringes and the peaks, whilst Danica makes the rounds in the Ala Mhigan quarter. And there I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about it, eh? Oh. I can't even check to see what you did. We can meet afterwards at Gilbert's Gale. Mubot didn't like that joke. Oh my god. No. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. Also 2! In the palace? No, not me, lass. Surely you've heard stories of the Mad King. He used to hold public executions up on the divine audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was flung from the top of those steps. Suffice it to say that I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. Mature maid. You want to hear an old maid's stories, do you? Aye, well, most of what I know of the Mad King is common knowledge. We'd only seen His Royal Majesty when he deigned to attend the executions he'd ordered. After a while, even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. They say he started seeing assassins in every shadow and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once, but the mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. I hate navigating this town. I served at the palace of King Theodoric and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace guards, I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life, and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which, of course, we were under orders to ignore. So we'd stand still as statues, trying not to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. If your hell's bent on finding out what happened in the palace, head down the street here and ask old Ernold. He was the king's head scribe. Yo, Ernold. Yes, I am Ernold. What do you want with me? You would have me dredge up some decidedly unsavory memories. Yet if all amigos to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well, I shall tell you what I remember. I take it you know of Theodoric's paranoia and the public executions of his kinsmen? Those were terrible enough, but in his last days the king's fevered mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. His Majesty ordered the court thaumaturge to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, a magic which transformed them into fiends of hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now my sleep is troubled by nightmares. If others of Theodoric's blood were prone to share his madness, then mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy ended with him. Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. But what of you, Danica? Were your investigations any more fruitful? Turned into monsters? And what could he mean by this darkness beneath the palace, I wonder? I met an old man in Alagiri who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison, but he said naught of cursed abominations. The Imperial archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could the scribe fellow have been spinning her a yarn, do you think? Did you believe him, Danica? His fear seemed genuine. If he was afraid, that does lend credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how that helps us in our search. Do not be so hasty. This could be Koenmei's trap. Arnold's anecdote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden, but ere I share my theory, there is a matter I would clarify. Arnvald, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? Abrupt music stop. It wasn't all pretense, I swear it, but you're right. My father was in the Imperial Army, a man of Garlean blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say that my Alamegan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was an emerging third eye. Like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleans, my mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage and took up a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to haunt the alleyways of Alamigo, a feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. And the best I can say about the years that followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually, I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew steel on ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With Theodoric's gold, I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. Thank you, Arnvald, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall, but I felt it best to be clear in our intentions. Well, Danica, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arnvald's noble cause and claim the thrill of adventure as your reward? I just want the Shizui set. And then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's trove if you were minded to hear it. What are these? Accessories? Give me healing. Because then when I get the tombstone accessories, I can slap the... Oh, they're not even good. Oh wait, I have to use it. Hold on. I'm tired. Okay, 3 of them are good. Yeah, I can slap those on my retainer later. That's one use I found for all of the Shizui accessories. I put those on my retainer. Also 3! Actually, mayhap it would be better if we first adjourned to a more suitable location. In case a rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, you mean. Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis certainly a valid concern. Let us reconvene on the southern edge of Waxeld. Where's my Korok? Yahaha. Our booties are wet. Forgive me, 'tis not my intention to draw out proceedings. I simply wish to have the lock in sight while I explain things. Prior to the great flood of the Six Umbral calamity, the salt lakes you see before you were yet dry ravines. And this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the Fifth Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war. Yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Loch Seld. It is my belief that the darkness beneath the palace mentioned by Theodoric's former scribe was not a reference to the prison, but to a place still further below, the ruins of Scala. I further surmise that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there, not simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodoric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's trove? Precisely, and since we know the court thaumaturge was involved, we can safely assume that any entrance into the old city will have been magically concealed. Which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and gods know how many Alamegans never found a trace of the trove. We, however, have certain advantages which they do not enjoy. Danica, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route into the ruins? While you do that, Arnvald and I will seek out an ensorcelled portal within the palace. His big-ass oven mitt gloves. Oh, this is the path I found earlier, where I was like, what the hell is this? It doesn't lead to anything. Press on and find where it goes. Danica, it's Alphino. We've searched the prison beneath the palace and found a teleportation portal concealed by enchantments. The markings indicate it leads to an underground cavern. What news on your end? That was fast. Whoa, what a treasure. Potato. And you believe it leads into the ruins, then I dare say we'll be able to meet within. And go on and head through the door. By the way, I took the liberty of calling on a friend for help. I guarantee you she's both dependable and discreet. We'll see you soon. The drowned city of Scala. Huh, doing a dungeon already, alright. Just want to go down, there we go. Oh, what was my level 70 skill? This. Grants confession to self and nearby party members. Let's see if I ever remember that I have this. White Mage has too many skills. Tall bunny. Skalanaka. Makoto, you coming? Yeah, he's coming. I like the song. What? That's a horse. Kelpie. Whoa. Hydro push sounds like we want to be close. Oh, it doesn't even do damage. It just shoves us. Okay. Fair enough. Ow. Oh, those just pop. No? Oh god. I wasn't watching the boss. What do we win? Nothing that I need. Is that one enemy? Ow. Nothing but accessories that I can't use. Whoops. This is so many enemies. The old one. No, not you. Ah! Turned me into a bunny. Ugh. Huh. I was expecting more from that boss. Healing, mine. Fending, don't need it. Just throw that on. Gazelle leather. More healing. More healing! All mine. Oh god! Danger fields in every direction. Golden Walls of Ruin. That sounds like something from Spelunky. Man, where was all this armor luck when I was in Makoto? Makoto? What are you doing? Where was all this armor luck when I was trying to get fucking Shisui? Aw, I didn't get it off. Interesting. Oh dear. I disagree, that didn't hit me. There's so much happening in this fight. I don't think the striking gear would be useful considering I have the, I keep wanting to say Shire gear, it's not Shire gear. The Stormblood Shire gear. Nope, they left. Oh yeah, 315, I don't need that. Whoa. I don't think I like this.
It would appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
The gear here sure is something.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
How are we gonna carry all this out of here?
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Arnvald and I tried to do our fair share, but I fear you ended up bearing the bulk of the burden as usual. You truly led the way with your adventuring prowess, my friend. Aye, without your help, I reckon we'd still be fumbling about in the dark. I'm glad I called on you. I must say, I am still reeling at the sight of that mountain of riches. What, like how you reeled at the sight of that floating spectre, you mean? I wish you could have seen the look on your own face, Alphino. Must we dwell on such momentary lapses? We found the Mad King's trove, and that is all that matters. For the butcher's blood. All jesting aside, we must tell people the good news, and I think Lee should be the first. Seconded, she is bound to be delighted. If I am no longer needed, then I shall take my leave. Of course, don't let us keep you. Thanks again, and say hello to Vama for me. Now then, there is to be a meeting of representatives from across Alamigos, so Lise is sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? Hang on. Please, before you kill me, let me play a game of Triple Triangle. This man has priorities. What do you mean upload failed? What? Let me reload Discord real quick. Oh, Discord seems to be dying. Yeah, I just can't upload screenshots right now, okay. Oh, I don't want to go first. Whoa. Hell of a card. Ah, you fool. Fordolo Ram Lupus. Oh, that was the dude. Wait, no, that's that's Angry Lady. Where did I get these from? Yeah, Angry Lady. Is that a bot? Yep. Local woman too angry to die. Hey, that's Danny. Fueled by pure spite and nothing else. Oh, you three look pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to? I'm glad you asked, Lise, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna like the answer. You're joking. The Mad King's Trove? I thought it was a myth. So did plenty of people, but they didn't have Danica and Alphino in their party. The credit for finding it should really go to them. As for what to do with it all, I vote that it goes towards alleviating the suffering of Ala Mhigo's poor. Gods, if there's as much as you say. Arnvald did not exaggerate, I assure you. We cannot hope to carry even a fraction of it out on our own. I have taken the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you will assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to where the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for, and that goes for the spending of it as well. Thank you. Oh, there is one other thing. When the time comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask that you consult Alphino. I don't have a head for details. I'm not educated. I see that simply handing out sacks of gil won't solve everything, but I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead. Oh, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you could give us, Alphino. Of course, I shall be at your disposal. God, don't trust me with spending. I just spent like 50k on shit for daily turn-ins because I don't feel like crafting it myself. Commander, we've got a problem. Deep breaths. Tell me what's happened. The mobs gathered outside headquarters and they started making demands. You'd best come and see for yourself. Mr. 100k umbrella. Hey, that's different.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
That's a voice.
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's going on?
Someone let slip about Fedorla.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it! We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Butcher the... Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down!
Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye! And my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Ala Mhigo.
Hey, who's this?
That's the Bull of Ala Mhigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair, for it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast, it is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted, the ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance. But we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Ala Mhigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves, and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Ala Mhigo. The Garleans called us savages, and I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I like me
I know
just
you're right,
staring.
I do, but I can't.
My thanks, Ralbon. Listening to their anger, I could feel myself being swept away. 'Tis a difficult tide to stem. 'Twas that same rage which brought us to our feet and carried us to victory, but now the war is over. All that unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance. Aye, and it's not just here. We've reports of mobs forming all over. They've been targeting folk known to have cooperated with the Guardians. It starts with insults most often, then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious souls even thought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It was grim. I want to build a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. And maybe the time isn't right. Maybe people just aren't ready. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try. The representatives will be here soon, and I'll be damned if I'm going to give up before I've even begun. Who are these representatives exactly? Oh, village elders, refugee leaders, and the like. It wouldn't be right for us to dictate the nation's future on our own, so we've planned a summit of sorts. We've even invited the Ananta and the Keycairn to participate. Alamigo stands at a crossroads, and this meeting will decide which path it takes. The matter of Ferdola's sentence cannot be suffered to disrupt proceedings. Then let's execute her and be done with it. She herself asked to be put to death. Nago, I already explained why we wouldn't do that. Sending her to the gallows might satisfy people right now, but where would it end? Should we round up everyone who collaborated and everyone who didn't resist? There would be no one left, and we'd be no better than Theodoric and Xenos. Begging your pardon, but might I be allowed to speak with Ferdola? Only I caught a glimpse of her past, a moment of it anyway, during the fight. She's done terrible things, aye, unforgivable things, but in some ways she's a victim of the circumstances in which she was born, and that's something I can understand. Alright, speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come and join you. I want to talk to her too. I'll return to my other duties then. We've barely begun to investigate the facility where they gave Ferdola her powers. Be fairly warned, friends. She will test you. Don't let your emotions color your judgment when she does. What? Oh. You're fighting. You're fighting things. Need the commander's permission to enter, then. Man, do I have to come? I got nothing to say to her.
So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom? Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men! And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind? Yeah, you're a fool, but you're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Fadola. I see you for what you are.
Oh, my turn. Alright. Excuse me for a moment. You guys do your thing. Her hairstyle never changed in all those years.
Come along, Fadola. We mustn't be late. The Imperial Viceroy will be attending today's banquet.
All right! Father, what's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions.
Who does... Oh, Geralt from Three Houses. That's who this guy reminds me of.
Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Alamigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
He's like the exact same hairstyle.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
Father, what did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who'd gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Fadola!
Traitors!
Please, you have to do something. My husband and daughter are in danger.
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of arms.
We're citizens. We have rights.
I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive.
Traitors! Traitors!
Square in the face.
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Fajola, please! You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier? Oh, gods! What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honoring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones. Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes, wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they? Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay!
Oh. Now she's sinking to our memories. That's interesting.
You. All that power. All that pain. It's too much. Too much for anyone.
Hey, Discord, can I... Okay. That's like the most... Danny appropriate thing.
The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken. How? Why?
For those I have lost, for those I can yet save.
Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.
A peek into Danny's mind would scare off anyone. The place is a minefield, not for the faint of heart. Did I mention she's insane? Oh. Alright. Inappropriate quest clear jingle? Yeah! Oh, speaking of the 100k umbrella, there it is. Yep, sure is raining. Five, I think? I've lost count already, oh no. I don't know that we solved anything exactly, but we've given Fordola something to think about at least. Ah, and I found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Danica, but the visions only come to me every now and then. From the way Fordola kept wincing, though, I get the feeling she's having them almost all the time. That's a lot of bad memories to deal with. I'm counting the quests, so that I have an idea of where I'm at in post-Stormblood. I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between one who is born with the Echo and one who has been artificially imbued with it? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring the research facility ever since the Liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Alden's there overseeing the investigation. Let's go and pay him a visit, shall we? Nope, we got a train. I read that there's 40, so I'm just kind of counting them as I go. General Alden is inside. Ah, will you be joining him? The Resonatorium. That's a hell of a name. Oh, this fucking place. Oh, that's what those are. Huh. What news? You spoke with Fordula, I take it. Yes, as expected, she didn't say very much, but it wasn't a total waste of time. Arnvald noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might be having visions almost constantly, which is not how the Echo normally works. Have you found anything here which might explain why it's so different from her? Huh, we've been hard-pressed just to organize the research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the Scion's expert assistance if you have the time to lend a hand. Supply subject. Well, this one bears the label Master Subject. The Ironworks received a request. Yep. Did you notice the labeling? All the pods are designed to drain the ether of the occupants, save that one right there. Unlike the others, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. Idle conversation prohibited. Eating and drinking prohibited. The fallen scrap of parchment appears to list facility regulations, but nothing of any interest. Every one of them a victim of those experiments. If you show any signs of external injury, from what I've been able to determine, they perished from forcible ether extraction. Such a miserable way to die. What have you learned? Place sucks. I know little and less of science, so any light you can shed on this facility's operations would be much appreciated. Danica, shall we start with you? Place sucks. Literally. Taken in combination with the testimonies of Kryl and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials were attempting here. The enhancement procedure entailed infusing a single candidate with ether siphoned from a multitude of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Kryl, the patterns of her etheric activity would provide the model upon which they would artificially engineer the candidate's aura. In other words, they were trying to recreate Kryl's echo? I believe so, which would explain our prisoner's present state. Kryl is possessed of an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul, and it seems probable that the procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Fordola. The soldiers who guard Fordola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls. And there's a sentry at her door night and day if she can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past. But you don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain. Imagine what it'd do to you. You'd never be the same again. Indeed, as you may recall, Ysayle was completely transformed by a single glimpse of her Svelger's past. Was that the Ice Lady? Trying to remember all these names. Fordola has been forced to experience the agony of those whose lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed. Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer on for now. We have more pressing matters to consider. If the results of these experiments have been relayed back to Garlabald, there will be naught to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. It could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. We must be ready. We must learn all we can of these gods' forsaken procedures. And Fordola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish, not yet. Right. Keep faith, lass. If you're to convince others to follow you, you must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, but not if it's feigned. I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. Hey, I'm one of those. Every time. I'm never ready for that. I just walk out into the city and suddenly battle music. I go looking for answers about the Echo and end up getting schooled by Raubon. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Alden is a veteran of countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his experience. I know, but I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. It makes me realize how much we rely on his authority and how much I still have to learn. I wonder what he'll do when everything here is settled. I mean, it's his homeland. After going to the trouble of winning it back, might he not want to stay? 'Tis a quandary which countless refugees now face, to continue the life they built in Ul'dah or start again in the land of their birth. Danica, a moment. I am newly returned from Ul'dah with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Sold, I'm gone. Well, I must away and attend to other business. Until next time, my friends. An audience with the Sultana. Depending on the nature of her consultation, this might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. Yes, we'd all like to know about those. Alpha no, but not everyone's as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take no notice of him, Danica. I just want to get into her pants. Six. Well, the question of how to put the Man King's treasures to good use shows no sign of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Ironvold? I I'm at your beck and call. I should be getting back to my own tasks. I'll organize a squad to head down into the ruins. And then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, and send Nanamo my regards, Danica. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. Porta Praetoria. Do I have that? Where is that? Actually, before I... Oh, I never mapped out this area. Oh. Praetoria's that town. Gotcha. Hang on, real quick. Before I forget, because I will forget. Let me map this area out real quick. I know it's because it's an MMO and it's supposed to be grindy, but I kind of feel like they could have just done the normal triple triad rules where you take one of your opponent's cards. Like, you can choose the card that you take when you beat them. As long as it was one of the ones that was changed to your color. If only. Oh, come on, really? That little stretch to the north? Dungeon card drops are even worse. I got, like, weirdly lucky with a lot of, Wait, hold on. That train already came through here, right? Like, they're gone? What even is my mark in this area? Now let's see if clouds. That's Western Lenosia. Mains. It's a zombie, okay, so he's probably in the, he's probably in here, right? To the north. There he is. Well, he gets some unique music. Got him. No. Any other mount, please. Don't want that one. Yeah, I got 5,000 gil for killing that thing. And 20 more Aetheryte tickets. Yeah, if the train hasn't gone through, then I don't want to take their kill, but if they're already done, then it's mine. I leveled up from that achievement. Whoa, what the? Big boy. Alright, I'm going to take a quick break. And then we'll keep at it. Be right back. And I'm back. Oh yeah, Reaper. I'll grab that later. Don't feel like it right now. You are expected, my lady. Please proceed.
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy. The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel.
I saw a screenshot the other day of Iron Mouse just finished ARR and got to the scene with the poison wine.
I speak of Rauban and his future. All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Uldar home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo.
It wasn't me, yep.
And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet, how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a Sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure?
Stop blinking!
Wonderful. Allow me a moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
Hang on, it's been a while, and it's relevant again. The return. Wait, where are we going? Yeah. Oop. Perchance you remember Lydra, the merchant's daughter. This is the persona I assume when I venture beyond the palace walls to observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa Sham would accompany me, but for this particular outing I needed an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you have met people from all walks of life in every corner of Eorzea, and I barely remember half of them. And I would make use of your worldly experience. Now let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nald. Oh god, been a while, huh? This is where I first walked out of the city as like a baby level 2 pugilist. Started punching bunnies and hornets. Look upon the procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanalin's predators both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is, and unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Ala Mhigo, and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. You have done your best, Your Grace. And then my best has not been good enough. Shall we press on? I would follow the road to the unholy air. Hold on, let me hop on my fucking unicorn. What? Hold on. Hi, Spice. Delay on the keyboard. Or my mouse. We'll be fighting Roger. Wow, I'm not used to being able to see their deck. His cards suck. Oh, reverse, okay. Shit. I want that corner. Okay, hold on. I have a reverse deck. My only other deck. Specifically for this fucking game type. Bitch. I hate Order. Order's like my least favorite. Wow, this sucks. It's just 2s everywhere. Everything's a 2. I can't do anything. Can you go first, please? I hate going first. Nothing I can do against that. There. Oh boy, I'm horrible. Yeah, I don't like reverse. Bring the squirming sack to Giore. How long have I had that? This catfish has been in my pocket for like 3 streams. Hey Nanamo, wanna play Triple Triad? It was here, in this wholly unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. Oh. I was but a child at the time. My parents were returning from an inspection of our interests in eastern Thanalan when an untimely rockslide crushed their carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Raubon once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the monetarists, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. And thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their power and place our nation in the hands of its citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my action would have for you and yours. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price for my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the monetarist damnable games. Forgive me, my outburst. You are one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. Pokemon Colosseum? I know I said I would never play that again, but like I'm kind of feeling it. Now that I know what I'm doing in that game. Where is the Colosseum? I never have to go there. I don't know where it is. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years, I simply signed where I was told to sign and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life. For it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Raubon. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I would only stand for so obvious an injustice. I would not stand. And demanded to see a fair fight, one man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring, which had arranged for Raubon to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raubon had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. And when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But as you know, Raubon is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the Blood Sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the Syndicate. And then I had my blade. Oh, hold on. Headache time. It's the victory theme, I just realized.
Your Grace, you mustn't! The danger is too great! Please, Your Grace, come back! I beg of you!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Sham. Rabon!
Your Grace. I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine.
I hear cats being bad.
With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Uldar, and so, as tradition dictates, Rauben Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last. Long live the Sultana, and long live Uldar!
Hold on. Are you spilling water everywhere? Bad cat? I thought we were past this. What the hell? Why are you being bad? Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Sean's love for me is of that of a grandsire for his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raubon, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. Only silver? Come on, at least give me gold, game. I don't need more frickin' food. I have so much already. 7! We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan sworn for long, and there are other places I would visit. To the Arzaneth ossuary. What and where is that? Oh. Thaumaturge Guild. When the calamity threatened, Raubon led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Carteneau, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Archon Louis would have the power to rouse the 12. Since that day, I have made a custom of visiting this shrine during each of my little excursions. Here I seek the blessings of Thal, reflect upon my choice, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as a champion because you have led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. If I am to be a Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path, Danica. With Ala Mhigo now freed from Imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already, many displaced Ala Mhigans seek to begin the long trek home. To facilitate that process, I have made a small contribution in Artisan School in Ralgir's Reach for any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. But we do not have years. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive. And this time, the Aldan Treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. Why not seek the advice of one who employs refugees? A wise suggestion. Mayhap a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the Syndicate, and he is one of the few who pay refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Vanderville? A little bit. That I need not explain his eccentric nature. Let us make our way to the landing, and I will see that word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be only too glad. Wow, I never expected the MSQ to take us to the fucking saucer. But here we go. I have ridden aboard a public airship before, and this shall be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. Oh, I have to. I can't just warp there. I had heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting. Well, let's take her to Blunderville, then she'll really see bright. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to flitter away the royal coin. Godbert will be expecting us. Come, let us head directly to the lounge and ignore these gaudy temptations. Okay, but while I'm here, did I do this today? I did, okay. Oh hey, it's the bar I like to hang out in when I'm AFK. I believe this is where we are to meet Lord Manderville. Shall we sit while we await his coming? My apologies, Your Grace. I have kept you waiting. No apologies are necessary, Godbert. My request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice. When the intrepid Danica Bush and the Sultana herself come calling, there is no more important engagement. Desmi. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Thanaland. You are aware, I am sure, that many of Alamigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland, and you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter of how it might best be distributed? The unusual circumstances of our meeting and your Grace's choice of companion would suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is stop. Taxing Ulda's wealth to save Alamigan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea. You oppose my proposition? Most empathetically, I agree with your Grace that the refugees must have housing and employment, but what profit is there for Ulda in this arrangement? Profit? After all you have done for Girabania's displaced, I thought you the very last person to seek to benefit from their misfortune. Forgive me, your Grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is one born of pity. Your intent is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. And then we must consider Ulda's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Alamigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not your Grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill. Indeed, then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency, whilst also serving the interests of the people of Ulda. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with the returning Alamigans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects, not suspects. Wrong word. You have given me much to ponder, Lord Vanderville. I thank you for your candor. Eight. Profit. The thought never even crossed my mind. But standing about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Danica, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempt at philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Hold on, let me go ask Tressa real quick. Ordinarily, I would not trust any agent of the East Aldernard Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led by you. You may repay my faith by journeying to distant Kugane and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to do, I shall await your report by the Aetheryte in Ulda. A fair journey to you, Danica, and a swift one, if you please. I just remembered something. And I feel dumb that I forgot to do this before the stream started, but I forgot to grab my ventures this morning, and then I forgot to grab them when I got home. So they've kind of just been sitting here. Oops. Do I have anything for you? I do. I think just that. Okay. Let someone else do it. There we go. Yeah, I just completely forgot about those. Time to teleport across the world. I have a question. Who do you hand in Centurio seals to? I've kind of just been collecting them, but I never... Is that a cat? Oh shit, you can get the big materials here? The new king on the block. Oh, is that the Monster Hunter quest? Oh god, there's so many blue quests that I don't want to do. So many. I don't know if I'm ever doing the EX trials. Or like the super hard variants, that just doesn't sound like my jam. Danica, to what do I owe the pleasure, or are you here on business? I beg your pardon, Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ul'dah. My dear Danica, I have you to thank for this recognition, I am sure. I am flattered that you came to me, truly flattered. Why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning exertions are said to fill his garderobe with gold. I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say at the Scion's former headquarters in Thanalan. The Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Danica, and may your dealings prove fruitful. Man. Came all this way for that. I think that's Serena's hair. Welcome back, Tanika. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? With Lolorito, and you agreed to this? I am well aware of his standing in the field of business, but I had hoped to keep the monetarists at arm's length, and him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively. Very well, I will meet Lolorito. Let us go on ahead to the Waking Sands, and prepare for his coming. Oh. I was expecting to have to use one of my many Waking Sands Aetheryte tickets. Of which I still have 56. So this is where the Scions first congregated. I have heard many tales, but never had occasion to visit. To work then, the hour of the meeting draws near, and I would gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves. Alright, everyone get the fuck out.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as an assassination, I fear I can be of little help. You have made your point. 'Tis indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask. There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira?
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I am glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Simply put, I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Ul'dah and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Ah, 'twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. Huh, I am impressed, Your Grace. 'Tis an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identified the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
I haven't paid any attention to which town is which. Isn't the Saltery dead? Wasn't that place busted up and abandoned? Isn't that where we got ambushed by robots? I don't know. Does this decision matter? I kind of want to pick the Saltery. I don't even remember which town Oligana is.
Ah, yes, that desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Saltery and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gil.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ons of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
We'll just have to make sure we got rid of all the robots. I fear it'll be many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations. But I shall not complain. We have piqued Lolorito's interest and secured his invaluable expertise. Thank you, Janika. I could not have done it without you. 9. Of course, or our course is decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin working on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, Danica, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hext on your return to Alamigo. My thanks again. Together we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Alamigo and Ul'dah both. Hi. What is she wearing? Oh, I think that's Shisui. Danica, you're back. What did Nanamo... Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So, Raubon says he's going to return to Alda, but she isn't sure he wants to. Tell us something we don't know, but I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Saltery does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lolorito's help is another question. After all that has happened, he's the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. But on a more practical note, Lise, assuming the interim government elects to accept Ulda's proposal, I have one caveat I should like you to include in the bargain. Alamigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investment. We have a fortune at our disposal, after all, and allowing Ulda to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lolorito too much control. Honestly, Alphino, it's like Hugane never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first, though, we need to discuss this proposal with the Saltery's residents. Alphino, 100% anti-capitalism. Whisker, how do you fancy explaining the Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what Watt thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything. Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, Danica? I might need to fill you in on the details. And I shall come as well. Should Watt wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful. I like how this is just Lisa's outfit now. Dog. Oh god, it's 3 million to level up now. That looks like a black mage hat a little bit. Town of Salt. What manner of mischief brings you young'uns to Old Watt this time, eh? They want to rebuild the Saltery, Granddad? Danica, tell them about the deal. Well, bugger me, we've never had the coin or the hands to put the place back to how it was, but it sounds like that's about to change. There's just one small wrinkle in your plan. It doesn't account for all the nasties queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. The king used to send soldiers to cull the buggers, but the Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Grandad, we'll take care of all that. Commander Hext has been talking about starting up regular patrols, and I'm sure she'd assign me to the block if I asked. I'd appreciate that, Whisker, my lad. Truly I would. So, does this mean we've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been training, aye, but mostly to kill Imperials. You've some experience hunting monsters, don't you, Danica? Think you could cast an eye over a few of the local beasties and teach me how to deal with them? Let's not waste any time, then. I'll see you by the log. I feel like we should be teaching a whole platoon how to deal with monsters and not just one dude, but Whilst you are busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me exactly what is required to restore the Saltery to its former glory. Good hunting. Observe a yappy. Right then, Danica, I've got a spyglass here you can use to take a closer look at these pests. Once you've got their measure, you can tell me what to do. We'll see how well I get on. Is that a yabby? I don't see anything else here. It's not doing anything. Punch it in the nose. Oh wait, that's how I deal with everything. The underside of the head looks soft and vulnerable. Ah, looks like you found a yabby. They say hitting their shells like smacking a rock. Any suggestions? Hit it as hard as you can. Aim for the soft underside of the head. Vulnerable under the head, are they? Right then, wish me luck. Oh, we don't even get to see it. Thanks, Danica. Just as you told me, and the wavekin went down like a sack of popatos. Let's find something else. I think I can handle the yabbies now, so we should try something different. What else is out there? Faux bad. Oh, these things. Its hands are large and powerful, but destroying its crystallized core should render the salt golem inanimate. He sends power pulsating from behind its brow. Ugh, faux bad. How do I beat one of those? Just hit it really, really hard. Destroy the core within its brow. I feel like those options would be way funnier. But let's not get Whisker killed. Inside its head, is it? I'll try to stab it right between the eyes then. It just gets squished. It just flattens. Or deflates, I guess. It's not easy fighting with the Liberator of Alamigo watching your every move, but I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, Danica. I feel a lot better. Prepared for my patrols now. The entire thing turning around. Any road, we should head back to the Saltery before Grandad starts to worry I've been snipped into pieces and fed to a Yabby's hatchlings. Oh right, I have a black chocobo. I see you returned in one piece. Dealt with those beasties then, did you? I fought them myself after a bit of instruction from Danica here, like. Once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad, a fine young man you've become, Whisker, a fine young man indeed. Too often of late I hear tales of folk over in the city drunk on victory and hungry for revenge, their heads stuck firmly in the past. But we need to set our sights on the future, on things which will improve our lot. Things like getting the Saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen. Ten! Seems Whisker and the Saltery security well in hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next steps with Master Watt and completed my inspection of the site. That was fast. With a little work, the vacant buildings here could be made into very presentable dwellings. Message from General Alden. Apologies for the interruption, miss, but the General would speak with you at your earliest convenience. Do not feel obliged to wait around on my account. I will remain here to hammer out the finer details with Watt and act as an intermediary with our business partners in Ul'dah. You should go. General Alden asked that you wait for him by the main gate in the Ala Mhigan corridor. My apologies again, miss. Fare you well. Let me hop on my burning horse.
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain Ilberd in the Crystal Brave's betrayal.
Oh, Laurentius was, Traitoro, I think.
Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the resistance fighters prior to the Griffin's infernal ritual.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men?
So I know this is what he wants to hear, but this is Danny we're talking about.
Hear, hear. There is no more fitting sentence for the perpetrators of such a massacre, and that is but one of their crimes. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me.
Traitoro returns.
I bear a share of the blame for Ilbert's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamegan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Uldar and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father...
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay. The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
That took longer than I intended, but at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled, Arnvald, what news? We may have a problem, sir. A group of Ananta has arrived at the main gates, and I don't mean the Vera, these are Kaelana, the ones that summon the Primal. They're insisting they be allowed to attend the council. Lise is trying to reason with them, but she may need help. An invitation was extended to all the native beast tribes, but we assumed the Kaelana would refuse it out of hand. We had best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Danica, you've dealt with these Kaelana before. I'd have you at my side. Oh, I should go talk to the achievement guy. I don't think I got all the mounts from him. What? Alright. You want to do this? Fine. That's what you get. Danica, Raubon, gods, it's good to see you. Ah, the Slayer has come. We have not forgotten how you sinned against the Lady of Bliss, but we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all who call Girabania home. If this is truly your wish, you will welcome us as envoys of the Ananta. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone the summoning of primals. If you want to enter the palace, I must ask that you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word, it will be returned to you when the meeting is over. We will do as you ask, but you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish as to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's the closest we're going to get to a compromise, and we will have people standing guard. Aye, let them keep their swords. Then we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. Why do I have the feeling we've welcomed a viper into our midst? Ooh, this sounds like the final one for this patch. Dress up Raubon. Yeah, let's do it. This is 11. This Kaliana Elder's intentions seem at odds with all we know of her tribe, but thank you, Danica. Mayhap even the enthralled can learn to compromise? You believe an understanding can be reached. 'Tis not entirely unheard of, I suppose. Those who followed Saint Shiva eventually sought reconciliation with Ishgard. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The guard must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the Scions? I'll round up our comrades and send them to the Alamegan quarter. You can go on ahead if you like, Danica. My thanks. I will see you in the palace. That's kind of cool, I guess. I hate how much screen space it takes up, though. It's too big. Danica brought reinforcements. Arnval told me of the arrival of our unexpected guests, and I agreed that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthralled. I am not familiar with the Kalana tribe myself, but Alizé's report suggested that they shunned contact with other races. Despised it, in fact, even compared to other Ananta. Indeed, this apparent reversal in attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy. I imagine Lise was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? If the meeting is to be held in the throne room, it would seem wise to have eyes both inside and outside the palace. Y'shtola and I can stand guard without. That leaves the three of you to keep watch over proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside, then. Danica, do you know of the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city, at the top of the pillars. The guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. Large bird. As fortune would have it, I was visiting Rogier's Reach to look in on Alize. She sends her regards. Ah, this is where we fought, what's his name? Xenos.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lise Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Alamigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. It has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle, as equals, and I hope, as friends.
And then it blows up inexplicably. Danica grins and waves.
Expertly done. Lise has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game, and positioned them to consider a joint government. All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Ragenfred. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kaliana. Tell us, how do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
The Ananta wish only that those who dwell within Gir Abania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi! Lady of Bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
Damn it, evil snake lady. You had one job, and that was to not do this. Wow, this is like the easiest primal summoning we've seen. She could just do this.
What's really happening? No crystals were allowed through the door.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the primal will make thralls of them all.
It's up to us.
Well, that's not going to send a good message. But also, she asked for it. I like that lady's hair a lot.
God damn it! The guards were already turned! Fools!
No, you don't!
The Kaliana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvolt to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
Alright, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, you'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
How do we fight her without leaving our allies wide open? We can't stay on the back foot forever. No, damn it, if I think like that, we've already lost. I have the Warrior Light on my side. We can do this. Isn't that right, Danica? Deflect to dissipate the Ether Spear's Lakshmi releases during the battle. I see.
Why, I offer you peace and serenity.
Oh, wow. Arenvolt.
I shall free you from your hate!
Damn it all!
It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
I gotta do everything. The arm vault got out.
Do not your souls weigh heavy?
Oh god, out. Oh god, out. That's not fair. Working on it.
Here it comes!
We did it! We beat her!
What is this?
I'm only gonna say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Alamigo. Your choice.
Seven hells. It's her. The Butcher.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You, I will never forgive. But I will thank you. For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
Well fought, Danica. Arnvald, that was a near thing. Aye, our stand against the Kaliana would have been brief indeed had you not volunteered for guard duty. We'd be enthralled as surely as our sentries were. They must have planned this far in advance. Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... it's my fault. My stupid mistake. Nay, lass, we were all caught unawares. We will take this as a lesson and watch our own more carefully in the future. You can be sure that the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. The soldier who first spoke up in favor of the Kaliana keeping their weapons springs to mind. Primal's servant is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Sri Lakshmi's influence. Thanks, Y'shtola. We'd appreciate the help. Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Fordola turned up. What was she even doing there? I asked her to come. He didn't have the headache. Well, that explains it then. It's sad, but Ragnfried was right. Her victims will never forgive her for what she's done. I don't think Fordola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She just wanted to fight for her country. If you say the world in which Fordola grew up is partly to blame for what she became, then as an Alamegan, I feel responsible for improving that world. We can't ignore what's happening right now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance, or we risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people to let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face if that's what it takes. Tis a long and arduous path you've chosen, but one well worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. The first step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They're a little shaken, but not one of them seemed ready to run. We're all determined to finish what we started. I will see that you're not interrupted. Danica, you and the Scions are to stand down and get some rest. You've earned it.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people. It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave. Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Rabun Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
Your Grace.
Raubon, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Alamigo.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me? Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Uldar? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a Sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies. So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
Nanamo.
Smile for me, Raubon. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Thank you, Your Grace. It has been an honor to serve you and Uldar.
Tomorrow you will serve Alamigo, and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
I'm not crying, you're crying. Also, another bot. It's the same message, it's the same fucking bot.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise. But we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow.
You should fight, I already forget the turtle god.
No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project. She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
Beatrice, Arfano, 'twas only a jest.
I like this side eye that Pippin's giving her.
But I must yield the floor to Raubon. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
Yo. Is his spot open? Can I have it?
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
Twould seem I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary company or some such.
You may be getting on in years, father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
Yes, the Bull of Alamigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humor. And you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye. That seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have me.
If, he says. Welcome home, Raubon.
I'm kind of sad they never show Raubon, like, shoulder checking anyone, because look at that pauldron. You could take someone's eyes out with that thing.
Well, that was unexpected. Though you seem distinctly unsurprised. Either you are more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch. In any event, one thing is certain. Alamigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
You can barely see me in this shadow. I blend in. This is all well and good, game, but I gotta go. Can we wrap this up, please? I think it's about time I headed back to Ralgir's Reach. What's next for all of you? Alizé will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you if you've no objections. I'd welcome the company. Danica, why don't you come along to the Reach as well, once you've said your farewells to Nanamo and the others? You'll be able to access the palace's rooftop garden. Oh, cool. Blue quests. Yeah, I'll come back to you, Biggs and Wedge. Not yet. I would like to get decked out in tombstone gear before I start the raids. Well, here we are again. Alphino has regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances, and joyous homecomings. It would seem I missed everything. I was patrolling the palace grounds of Thancred and Y'shtola when we heard the report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubted my own ears. As others have said, we were lucky to have our echo-blessed companions nearby this time, but we'll need to keep a closer eye on the Kaelana. You could say that again. This whole episode has reminded me just how far apart our kind still are. Looks like centuries of fear and mistrust really can't be washed away in a day, but someone has to make an effort at reconciliation if these conflicts are ever going to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Nasty reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed, violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost at recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshmi with the Broodmother was the Broodmother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we won't be putting the safety of our allies in the Vera and M tribes first. I plan to have Resistance scouts keep track of the Kaeliana's movements at all times. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the Resistance army out of interest? Are we to prepare for Imperial counterattacks? That would be a question for the Resistance's newest recruit, a military commander with far more experience than me, Ralon. What? The Bull of Alamigo? We call it an army, but the Resistance is really a collection of smaller independent groups, and when Conrad passed his command on to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters based in Ralgir's Reach. He just happened to be serving as the Resistance spokesman at the time and needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray, but that time has passed. When I speak with the other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I'll be nominating Raubon as the overall commander of our forces. He has more experience than the rest of us put together, and we stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed, he is in all respects the ideal choice. Assuming he accepts the post, Alamigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's resettlement initiative, I can see great cause for hope. The seeds which we so carefully sowed have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. We tend to our promises and watch as Alamigo blooms. $12. Well, 11 done. This is the 12th. Assuming I counted right. Oh hey, back in Doma. Oh, he got off the island. I do give thanks to the Kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. But there their generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look so much like Jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in a city of rich merchants. Yatsuyu. These dango are delicious. Will you have one? More sweetbreads? I surrendered my blade to secure what few coins we have. In Monster Hunter Rise, that's all anyone eats is dango. Bah, it is like talking to a child. Why fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know, but I am alive and I must return to my master's side. Come, Suyu, we shall find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. Damn, she ate that real fast. Now, either she has amnesia, or they're both being extremely patient with each other. Meanwhile, in the Imperial Palace. Have you heard the reports? First Doma, then Alamigo, and Lord Xenos put to the sword. His own sword, even. Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy was merely wounded, and that he has already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly of taking his head regardless. Nay, Lord Xenos lives. Oh, is this... What's his name? Eldidibus? That guy. Is this the gift he was talking about? Deplorable that our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. It really is King Arthas. Or Prince Arthas. He's a zombie now. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and above all accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. They would wage war with empty words. Let them produce the Viceroy's remains then. We shall soon put the lie to their claims. Who dis? I don't recognize the outfit. Alright. Man, that took a while. Bird. Tidings from the east. Ooh, we're going back to Doma. I gotta go. We're 40 minutes past my stopping point. And I have an early shift tomorrow, so... Thanks for playing, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you tomorrow for more of this. Oh hey, there he is. And there he goes. Have a good night, I'll see you when I see you. Stay fresh.